We discussed about, like where we are, where we're going, and how we have like, vehicles that can support us on the journey. But the question is, what do we do from a strategic perspective within an organization to be able to tackle this? So if we go to the next part of this one, basically the value that what we're trying to do is being delivered and captured through the customer experience. So if we were to think about it, we start with the personas, the people that we want to target with. If we go to the next part here, what we do is we have the experience itself, what we're trying to deliver there. Together with the personalized experience, the next bit that we have here is going to be more about like, what is the value? What are we giving the customers in exchange for what they're giving us? So that's going to be another topic to have in mind. And then how do we deliver this? What are the capabilities from our side? And strategically for companies, we talk about people, process, technologies, and data. These are a key point of view that we have here, which is relevant. So this is what we need to have in mind when we're building these things out. Now, going into the data part that John was mentioning, which I think is also relevant from this point of view, is if we go to the next slide here, what we have is also a discussion about the fact that data itself is still very important. As mentioned, we need to have a way for us to, let's say, review and analyze and see what do we have in terms of data and kind of like try to fit us within a quadrant here, whether we're like in an inception part, we're like emerging, we're having data which is actionable, or we have like embedded data. This is a way for us to understand in terms of data maturity where we go. But as we can see, this is directly connected in terms of AI capabilities, because as John was mentioning, AI is only as good as your data is. So the more we do with these things, the more we can actually reap benefits in terms of AI. So we start with data, we focus understanding of what we have, and then we can take the benefits from that part. And if we go to the next part, what we can also see is like, some ideas of use cases. So again, when we think about AI, it doesn't necessarily need to like, cover an episode like talking with a customer, but it can have ideas in terms of like, for example, sales. Can we help people deliver more sales? Customer service, can we improve the customer experience? And for example, marketing, can we do this in a personalized way? And the other thing that when we're presenting this to the enterprise, to the organization, we need to have in mind what is the business impact that we are delivering, because gadgets are no fun unless we have some value attached to it. That's the most important thing to have in mind. And going into the next part, again, in terms of like, like the use cases, if we were to discuss about this, if there were some things to have in mind, and we're going to have a couple of takeaways. First of all, have a clear leadership support and alignment when you're building an AI strategy. It's incredibly important so that you know exactly what you do. When you go into AIs and whatever agents we have, we need to have specific roles and responsibilities of what we're trying to achieve and not have that gadget feel. We need to understand exactly what we aim to deliver. The other point is strategically, we need to focus on risk assessment, mitigation, governance. These are key factors that people will be looking at when we're trying to deliver an AI project within an organization. Then the other thing, which is key important thing for even for us, like we work in technology and we see this, business and IT need to work together towards a common goal. The common goal is the customer, but they need to work hand in hand from this perspective. And then definitely it's oversight, delivery, execution, and function. These are some key takeaways to think about from a strategic perspective of how do we turn an AI project into a reality in any organization that we have. So that's a key point there. Now, going into the next part that we have is, if we were to leave you with like four main things in terms of AI governance, we talk about the fact that executive alignment needs to be core connected with AI strategy. They need to be there. When we go to the board or we go to present our use cases, we need to define what our use cases are about. AI doesn't need to be a gadget, as I was mentioning. It needs to deliver value on something, and we need to be specific about what we aim to improve.